I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and welcome. Welcome, everyone, to the South River Board of Education meetings. Tonight we do have two meetings. Our first meeting is the public budget hearing of the board agenda. And the statement of adequate notice reads, in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Laws of 1975 of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the South River Board of Education was provided in the following manner. On March 30th, 2023, the notice was delivered to the office of the South River Borough Clerk and posted at the Board of Education Administration Building. On March 30th, 2023 and April 3rd, 2023, the notice was faxed, mailed to the following newspapers: Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger. On March 30th, 2023, the notice was posted at the South River Borough Clerk's office. Mr. Rosa, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Beza. Here. Mr. Butson.
Here.
Mrs. Bush.
Here.
Ms. Byrne.
Ms. Byrne has been excused.
Mrs. Lau.
Here.
Mr. Nielsen.
Here.
Ms. Sadowski.
Here.
Ms. Young Yao.
Here.
Mr. Bannock.
Here.
Jaden Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez will be excused.
Another call.
We have a quorum, thank you. So at this time, the meeting is going to be turned over to our superintendent, Dr. Zurcher, for the presentation of the 2023-2024 school budget.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Urbanek and members of the board and public. There we go. So I'm very pleased to present our budget as it highlights our direction for the upcoming school year. And there are a lot of exciting initiatives and programs and resources to share with the public today. But let's begin with how the budget was developed and what our budget process is. So basically what we do is we make sure that we align the budget with our student needs, with our district goals, and with the objectives that we have set within our action plans in our school buildings as well as our departments. We are still considering the impact and recovery from the pandemic, although it's good to know that we are transitioning away from such, still focused on recovery, but really have had a more normalized school year and headed in the same direction in our future. We of course have to consider the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, as we're required to do as a public school district, and the Every Student Succeeds Act, as well as our New Jersey student learning standards that are required and mandated to be implemented. So as part of the process, what we do is we meet with various stakeholders. We begin with staff, so our department leaders, as well as our building leaders, meet with their staffs, with the grade levels in various content departments. They discuss what our teachers believe are our student needs, and they embed that within the development of the draft of the budget. We meet with district administration, myself and Mr. Rosa. We sit one-on-one with every one of our department leaders and building leaders, and we discuss what these needs that the staff and that they have identified are. Then we meet with the Board of Education Finance Committee, and then finally the full school board once the budget is in its last stages of final development. So we make sure that this budget is consistent, of course, with the federal and state mandates that we are required to implement, as well as our district goals. Our board finance committee, our business administrator, and myself as superintendent we review and make sure that that budget is aligned with those exact mandates and also that it's an efficient and effective budget. The budget approval process, as required by law, is at the Board of Education level, and then at the Middlesex County Superintendent level. So here are some areas where we're really proud to show our fiscal responsibility. Now, as a district, we do a lot in engaging in any grant opportunities that we can get our hands on, but these are some of the other ways that we make sure we are fiscally responsible. I won't go through each one, but they're posted here for the public and for you as a board. Along with that, we really focus on some money-saving efforts as well, and we do so with several partnerships that we have. So our partnerships with our Middlesex County Cooperative Pricing System is one example. Our partnership with the Educational Service Commission of New Jersey, which is a huge entity in the county, but not just Middlesex County, now the state. That's a great partnership that we have as well. And there are several others that we include here. Our most recent one is the implementation through your approval of the new EdData system, which is really going to produce a cost savings, especially in the area of general supplies and a lot of the resources that we use on a daily basis. Just some real competitive, great low prices through this EdData system. It also makes purchasing a lot more accessible, a lot more time efficient, which really saves time for our employees and all of the people responsible for processing purchases in the district. So what does this budget do for us? Well, it enables the district to remain fully staffed with qualified personnel. We definitely include additional instructional staff in this budget, and you will see that throughout this presentation. We look to maintain appropriate class size. We do, of course, know that we have some barriers in that regard that are not budget related per se or staff related, but that are related to our facilities and our space. Instructional resources updated and aligned to standards. You will see that just like previous budgets that we have had, we continue to update different resources in content areas throughout the district. This year you're going to see that in the area of science. Last year you saw math, the prior year language arts. So we're continuing with that continuum of making sure our resources are current and aligned as standards change. Safety and security is a priority for us as well. So you know we've had it in the past, we've had allocations in the budget for our Class 3 officers. That continues within this budget. We continue with 5 full-time Class 3 officers. 4 are funded through a shared service program with the borough. 1 is fully funded by the Board of Education through this budget. We are conducting upgrades to our security system, and we have additional unarmed security staff at the high school. So here's a full list. And in school year 23-24, the district was fortunate to receive an additional $6.7 million, almost $6.7 million in state aid. And here's a full list of exactly how we intend to spend those funds. I've divided this list into 3 categories: student programs and instruction and academic improvement, construction, facilities and maintenance, and staffing, professional development, and recruitment. So you can see how this additional funding is being allocated amongst those 3 main areas that together really produce a well-functioning and supportive school district for our students and families. I won't read through this entire list, but I will share some of the exciting highlights on these lists. So for example, as I mentioned before, we're looking at a new science program and resources in K-12. We're looking at some additional courses. We're looking at additional Chromebooks to replace some of the outdated ones so that we can maintain that one-to-one laptop initiative that we've had for several years. We're adding some field trips. We heard some of the feedback from our public about the 5th grade camping trip, and that made its way back into the budget in a modified format, but certainly something that we are revisiting because that was something that the public shared with us. They wanted us to, so we're trying to be responsive in this budget as well. We have some really great upgrades, beginning with the room you're sitting in right now. This room itself is going to be going through a complete renovation. So we will see how that fits into our board meeting space, but with the priority being some of the courses that we have been adding, such as our virtual reality course, and some of our technology-based courses. So this is one of 3 rooms receiving that really great upgrade. Another one is where our robotics team currently produces their robots, and where we do our drone technology course. That room is going through a significant renovation as well. That's pretty exciting. We're going to continue our mental health program through ESS, as well as our restorative community service program that has proven to be very effective. In terms of facilities and maintenance, some of the highlights there, we also heard from the public that our weight room really needed some improvement and some attention. So that's here listed in this budget. We're looking at new fencing between the high school parking lot and the elementary school. We're looking to replace our student desks. Some of them are really outdated. Some of the furniture in classrooms is really outdated, so we're looking to outfit our classrooms with new whiteboard, upgraded furniture. Our kids sit at these desks throughout the day, and they really need to be comfortable and a good instructional tool for them as well. We're looking at flooring at the high school, courtyard project at the middle school to further enhance what we're doing with the outdoor classroom space, also at the middle school. We're looking at a new auditorium sound system. We know that the sound system in the auditorium is definitely in need of improvement, let's say it that way, and this is the year we can address that. And then of course we're building our high school edition mostly on a grant-based program, but also partially supplanted by our budget as well. In terms of staffing and professional development, we're looking at adding 2 social workers. We definitely know if we talk about recovery, we talk about really getting our students the support that they need, that we need additional staff in mental health services. We're looking at 3 ESL teachers because that is a growing population. You're going to see some of what services are needed there. Technology staff as well, some new coaches, and some stipends for different clubs that students have shown an interest in as well. A lot to read on these lists. In terms of capital and maintenance projects, I just talked about the high school addition. There's some LED lighting that we're looking at the high school. A Wall of Fame kiosk. We're looking to, as we've run out of space on our Wall of Fame, we're looking to transition that Wall of Fame to more of a museum-style kiosk where people can come, can view one of our honorees' information, photos, and so on. And here are some photos as well of what the potential new desks will look like for our students and the STEM room as well. So one of the things that I mentioned we are really focused on in the district is pursuing all of the grants that we possibly can. On the next 2 slides, I give a list of some of the grant funding that we are fortunate enough to partake in and to really be able to supplement our local budget with. And it's really amazing to see what these grants are able to do for our school district and the additional things we're able to provide. And as we're coming to a close on the ESSER grants that were provided through COVID, we're trying to figure out what other grants are out there so that we can continue a lot of the programs and services that we've been able to provide through ESSER. So you'll see that we'll be applying through a lot of those. The main one we're applying for is the 21st Century Grant, which would really take us up to about $2.75 million over 5 years, and that's for extracurricular after-school programs. So a lot of the things that we're funding through ESSER, like a lot of our enrichment clubs, we could do through this grant if we are recipients of it. A community fitness trail we're looking at, the SDA ROD grants for different improvements in construction throughout the district as well. In the next slide, you see ESSER and our ARP grants, which are coming to a close in school year 23-24 as well. And at this time, I'll turn it over to our business administrator, who's going to go through the financial components of the budget.
Thank you, Dr. Zurcher. I want to thank everybody who helped us with this budget, all the stakeholders, our administrators, the board, my staff, one of them sitting here today. I appreciate all the hard work that was done to create this budget. So, as Mr. Zurcher had explained, and you saw the new initiatives and things we want to do, I'm sure you're thinking, well, how the heck are we going to pay for all this, right? So these are the revenue sources for next year, 23-24 school year, which equate to $56,370,562,000, which compared to last year was $47,667,376 million. Next slide. So here you'll see the expenditure percentages in a pie chart. And I have to say, in the 10 budgets or so that I've done over my career, this is the most equitably, I guess, sliced chart that I've ever seen. So not one pie is overcharging the next, and its instruction is the main focus. So I think myself and Dr. Zurcher are very proud of this budget that we presented today. Here is the actual numbers that equate to that pie and how we're spending both from instructions to debt service to special ed. I'm not going to read through all of it. It's a lot of numbers, but it'll be here in the presentation. Now, one of the main things, or the main expenses for any school district is salaries and benefits, and I did want to make the board and the public aware that our staff salaries about $24,316,687, and our healthcare benefits cost is, or our obligation is $7,433,067, for a total of $31,749,754. That equates to 70.69% of our general expenses. And I also want to mention our health care benefits. We did receive an increase of about 15% this year. I did want to do a comparison chart just so you can have an idea on how we're spending the funds here in South River versus the state average in New Jersey over the last couple of years. All this means is, based on the money that we received, this is our per pupil cost versus what the state as a whole is, their per pupil cost is. We're still considered under adequate for, way over $1 million, so we're still under. So one day we're looking forward to have the funding that will allow us to do all the great things that we continue to do here in the district. Just some statistical data. Our total enrollment over the last 3 years, we've seen an increase of 6.03%. Our special education enrollment, again, over the last 3 years, has seen an increase of 6.28%. Our English language learners enrollment over the last 3 years, we've seen an increase of 56.99% in just 3 years. And our free and reduced lunch student applications this year, we have 1,316, which is 54.27% of total enrollment qualified for free and reduced. And I want to mention that in the year 2022, you can see there's like a dip where it went down to 927 this year. Though we encourage parents to fill out the free and reduced, everyone was free, and it was hard to convince parents to fill it out. Now that it's not free, we're seeing this uptick again. We're announcing to the parents so they take benefit of either free or reduced lunches.
Just to piggyback on what Johnny is saying, during COVID, the state did not require parents to apply for free and reduced, and everyone was eligible for free lunch. And so therefore, we didn't have the applications in at that time. And since then, they have eliminated that, and now the people who qualify for free and reduced are the only ones who receive it based on the applications. That's what shows that uptake. And what it's showing is that 54% of our students qualify for free or reduced lunch.
So on the next slide, you'll see what exactly is this costing the taxpayer. So on a budget of $56,370,562, this equates to about $3.99 for the average home of an assessed value of $292,585, which I think is a bargain for the amount of things that we're able to accomplish here. Any questions?
Not really questions, but great job done by everyone all around. Your staff, like you said, and like, when we get our quarterly done, when we come in at the end of the year, she says, you guys do a great job, which it shows. Kudos to everybody over there, please.
This presentation is
And
finished.
like you said, Johnny, there's a lot of stuff that we do here in district, and people don't realize that. And they need to take advantage of that stuff. When they complain about, the price for teachers, salary and all that stuff, but yet they'll sit there and they'll say, oh, teachers are underpaid. But then when we tell them how much we're paying them, whoa, what are you gonna do about that? Make up your mind, what do you want? You want to be underpaid, you want to be overpaid, people, you can't make people happy in this town. But I think it's a great budget. We got a lot of stuff in here. Thank goodness we got some extra stuff from the state. So, again, kudos to all. Very good job.
Do any other board members have any comments or questions on the budget at this point? Okay, so at this time, and thank you again for a great presentation, nice slideshow. I like the added slides and the enhancements. And who doesn't like pie? Sorry. So at this time, we are going to open up the meeting for the reception of visitors. And at this time, the public may only address the agenda items, which is the budget hearing. If you do, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and please keep your comments to a 10-minute time limit on first call, on second call, and on third call. We will move this public portion to be closed. And at this time, I will turn this over to our finance chair, Ms. Lell, for the reading of the resolution.
Thank you. In review of the information that was just supplied via the presentation, I can state that 4.1 is to approve the 2023-2024 budget, and I so move.
Motion by Ms. Lell,
Second.
second by Mr. Nielsen. Are there any questions? One more time. If not, then Mr. Rosa, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bazak. Yes. Mr. Butson.
Yes.
Mrs. Bush.
Yes.
Mrs. Lau.
Yes.
Mr. Nielsen.
Yes.
Mr. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Young Yao.
Yes.
Mr. Bannick.
Yes,
Motion passes.
motion passes. Thank you very much. We have a budget to send to the county superintendent now, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we do have the opportunity to open the meeting for reception of visitors, for any comment or concern that they have for the board. Once again, state your name and address, and your comments are to be kept to a 10-minute time limit on first call, second call, and third call. So this public portion is closed, and may we have a motion for adjournment?
Nielsen.
By Mr. Nielsen, is there a second?
Second?
Second by Ms. Lell, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned. We are now going to continue on with our regular meeting. Since we have already formally opened, does it need to be opened again?
You do not need to reopen or
Repledge,
repledge.
anything like that?
You should, just for purposes of the minutes, do the roll call.
Sure will. Okay, so, Mr. Rosa, let me know when you are ready. And please call the roll for the regular Board of Education meeting of Thursday, April 27, 2023.
Mr. Bazak. Here. Mr. Butson.
Here.
Mrs. Bush.
Here.
Ms. Byrne.
Ms. Byrne has been excused.
Mrs. Lau.
Here.
Mr. Nielsen.
Here.
Mr. Sadowski.
Here.
Mrs. Young Yao.
Here.
Mr. Bannick.
Here,
J.D. Rodriguez.
he has been excused. Thank you. Okay, then moving into our agenda, our first item on the agenda is under Board Secretary, and those are the minutes. Mr. Rosa?
Nothing new from our preview.
Okay, Board, what is your pleasure on the meeting minutes?
Move the minutes as read.
We have a motion by Mr. Nielsen, is there a second by Mr. Basak? Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, under use of facilities, we have several. Mr. Rosa, would you please?
That was several additions. Number 1477, Middle School Future Business Leaders of America Club. Number 1478, South River Parks and Recreational Department. Number 1479, South River Parks and Recreational Department. Number 1480, also South River Parks and Recreational Department. And number 1481, English as Second Language Department.
Okay, so board members, there you have them. Is there a motion?
Nielsen moves the use of facilities in accordance with board policies.
I thought you really had that down too, all these years.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get a
Fast.
I didn't get a bottle of water tonight, so I'm dry now.
Oh, pass one over. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Nielsen. Is there a second for the use of
Second.
facilities? Second by Ms. Sadowski. Do any board members have any questions on any of these items?
Yes.
I do
Yeah.
too.
Mr. Budzak.
Get 1479.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have questions. Mr. Budzak, I heard you first. Please go ahead.
I want to know how they're going to have the fireworks at the stadium.
So what they're looking to do as per the application is they're looking to use the field to set the fireworks, but the parking lot to sit and watch the fireworks.
Is there gonna be a seating plan submitted or something that we need to
I didn't
do
ask
or
them for
anything?
one, but you tell me as a board if you want that. I did not ask them for a seating
Don't
plan.
they usually do things in the parking lot leading into the
Yeah,
fireworks?
they
So where
have-
are they doing that?
I
mean, our board goal, one of our board goals is safety and security, and I'm just concerned, like, how, I'm gonna put the lawn chair here. Kevin's gonna come and move the lawn chair and, 2 spaces over now, or Kevin's gonna put the lawn chair in front of me, and now I don't have the view that I want. Like, I mean, there's,
we're gonna go to fisticuffs.
I mean, I would assume the
But that's-
police
that's
are
their
on
problem.
site, right?
Yeah, they're gonna have to provide the security on
I
that.
just wouldn't want something to happen
Hey, look, if we're lucky, one of those things will land on the stadium.
Burn
Burn it down.
Save us a ton of money. Save us a ton of money.
Can we move out?
Do we have,
I know the guy that burnt down the other stand originally, he's still around.
so, Mr. President, you really brought a lot of things up when you mentioned I have questions. Because now I'm wondering, is there a standing or sitting capacity rating for that parking lot?
Yeah, there's gonna have to be.
Well,
And who governs that, who monitors that? I mean, it's our property.
it is our property. There isn't one that's determined. Usually fire code capacity is for that purpose. But if you would like, we can take this item off the agenda. There's plenty of time before August. We can take it off the agenda. You can list your questions or concerns. I can bring those back to the borough and get a response for you.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do that.
Well, last year, they had a little, the fire department was on top of the middle school roof because there was a fire there. So I don't. Well, then,
That the fire department does always stand by, and that is the reason, they look at which way the wind is blowing that night, and so forth and so on. And that's another very good concern.
I think that
Mine is for the capacity of that parking lot, whether they're going to have the people stand. Do we know that they're going to recommend that people bring in their own chairs? Are they gonna be the high chairs? Are they just gonna be lawn chairs? Certain requirement, just as an example, down at the PNC Bank Art Center, the lawn seats are limited with the chairs. You are no longer allowed to bring in your chairs. It's another money-making opportunity. They do rent them, but they are all low-back chairs, so nobody could say that you brought in this high chair and you're blocking my view. How are they gonna be set up in rows? Are they just gonna be able to come in and set them up, or is there gonna be chalk lines on the parking lot?
What they used to call it, event C or something, right? They just open the gates and let everybody run in.
Standing room only.
So let's do this, why don't we do this?
Festivals,
Why
yeah,
don't
that's
you, just don't take action on this item today. Don't take action on it, we'll omit it. You send me your concerns and your questions, I'll go back to the borough. I feel like if there's any way that we can work through those concerns, we should, because if you take graduation, for example, we're not going to use the stadium bleachers themselves, but we've found an alternative. And so that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to find an alternative. So if we can make it work, then
Will they be able to utilize the high school parking lot out here for seating? Or is that gonna be too close?
I think those are really all good items
You know what I mean?
to be discussed, and I think